Scripture. It's not you have to become an Israelite before you get served. You get served. It's like to belong before you do, and someday you might want to because you realize this is the best place to be, in the center of God's family. So, yeah, it's got to be done together. Good word, good correction. Yeah.
How do you balance that against you what you just said, that those people who came into the family, all of these continue not parent widows, and there's criteria around who's taking care of people in the household.
Right. So, how do you take care of those? There are certain guidelines, and let's be clear about the widow piece. The reason why he had set up those guidelines is because of the way that it was being taken advantage of in a way that was actually not helping the widow. So we encourage our people to read When Helping Hurts, to realize there are some things we do we think we're helping and we're not. And so that reason why that law was, those guidelines were put in place is because it was actually hurting the widows. Because they were not getting the relationships they needed, they were just getting the handouts. And so that's, by the way, I think it has a whole lot more to do not just with the widow problem, but with our problem in the sense that we don't want to make our lives that open to include them into community. And sometimes they don't want to submit. I don't mean just widows, but people. They don't want to be in community. But I would be careful to not jump too far the other way of saying we don't therefore help anybody unless they believe exactly what we believe. Because you would come up with that conclusion from reading the book of Acts. And you certainly would get that from the Old Testament. So I think there are times when we say what would be best for them, and it may not be what they're asking for. And then I think there are people who come into the family who act like the family but aren't. The wolves, the hired hands, the people who are coming to rob the family, and they're actually undermining the way of helping others. So those are the ones I think we have to watch out for. So like I got someone I've had this. I've had guys who come in my house and they're drug dealers, and they're looking to get stuff from me so they go home and buy more drugs. So they're drug users, not dealers. And so once I know that, I don't let them have certain access because I know it's going to hurt them in the end. So I'm going to have guidelines when I see it's not going to help them. I think that's just exercising wisdom. Yeah. But by the way, let's not miss it. We have to first of all take care of the household of faith. Like if we don't take care of each other, then we're worse than unbelievers. So, but don't miss it. It also assumes you're taking care of each other and others. What it does say is don't jump past yourselves to take care of the other when you're not even taking care of each other. Because that actually then looks like an unbeliever. Right? Because you're not even hospitable with your own people. So we got to do both. Yes, Rob?
Yeah, just one other thing too. And maybe you've already said it, but talk about hospitality in terms of welcoming in and treating like family. And can you just talk a little bit about the subtle difference between that and entertainment mentality?
Entertaining people?
Yeah.
So I'm not just here to entertain guests. Yeah, I think what you just said clarifies it, right? I treat them like family. So what would I do with my own kids? What would I do with my mother? The entertainment tends to be keep yourself busy so we don't have to be in a relationship. And unfortunately we do that with our own families these days too much. It's like we're all being entertained, but we're not being interactive. And so I think it's giving yourself to one another, meeting the real needs of one another, not just anesthetizing them with another, affront, which isn't really helping their heart. I don't know if that's what you're getting after, but that's the thing. That's where we got to really know what do people really need. I found that people need relationship. So even I've taught my kids this when we're along, out in the park or something, and a person comes up to us and wants something like food. They say, I just need some money for the bus. I always say, well, let's walk you over the bus. Let's talk on the way. Well, that's not really what I need. Okay, well, what do you need? Actually, I need money to go buy a sandwich. All right, my kids and I were just going to go get lunch. Why don't we go get lunch together? Well, this happened. It's plenty of touch. Truthfully, I just want money to go buy some comic books. And this really happened. I'm like, cool, my kids love comics. Let's go to the comic store. So we literally walked all the way to the comic book store, and it was closed. And I said, would you like that food then instead? Sure. So we went and got something to eat. And then we hung out together. And afterwards, I said to our kids, people don't just need you to give them something and walk away. They need you to give them yourself. And we just took how long to be with this man. Maybe really he didn't need food. Maybe he didn't know he needed a relationship. But we knew he did. and we just gave him time to be with him. And maybe for once he thinks that he's worth getting some time with. So my kids now, we know, like they know, like we don't just give somebody something, we give them ourselves. And we give them what they really need. And so I just encourage you, think through that. Give us some, like someone on the street, just a quick handout. In some ways, it's just a meeting. Because it's a lot easier to walk by and walk away than it is to say, you know, I would love to give you this, but I'd love to know, how can I serve you better? Can I pray for you? Is there something more you really need? Because I don't want you to have to continue to do this if there's a way we can help you and help you get out of that. There's something I can help you with. And we don't usually want to slow down and do that because it takes time. And we'd rather just run past people. And the problem with the entertainment culture is that we don't engage people, we just run past them. Give them something to quickly get them out of our hair. And by the way, parents, I know sometimes we do this with kids, like, just watch a movie so I can get a break. And I get that, but we've got to be careful how often we teach our kids that it's better to discard them relationally so that they're busy than to engage them relationally with ourselves. And at the heart of hospitality is making space for people to be themselves, to be transformed if they aren't yet, and to be at rest when they need it, and to be known by God and each other, so that they can actually understand that someone deeply loves them. It's like, make hospitality a whole lot more about being with, being known, being transformed, being loved, being, than just doing something for somebody. So we gotta stop? All right.
And I just want to encourage you that if you have never been to the wearesoma.com website, there are tons of resources on there. There's tons of videos. But also know this, that Soma has invested in other types of resources. And so last summer, they put out a video series that you can purchase. It's not a lot of money, and I promise you, we weren't part of the Soma family of churches, and we bought it, and we use it a lot. Our missional communities show those videos, and some of it's just opportunities like this where Jeff is teaching. But the thing that is just priceless on them is that every video ends with at least 3 to 5 questions that Jeff he mentions the questions at the end. They put them up on the screen, so they're great conversation starters and opportunities. And so they put that out last summer, and just a few weeks ago, the second of those series came out. So there's tons of opportunities and resources for you. We've also mentioned Jeff's book, Saturate, that has come out, and I just encourage you that to be able to purchase that. It's not a lot of money. It's a great opportunity for you just to have something tangible to continue to go back and look at. So.
And in a few months, I think January or February, we're going to be providing coaches for people who want leadership coaching and transition their church or help build mission teams within their church. So that'll be coming on saturatetheworld.com probably January or February. So there's coaches all getting training ready, and I'll let you know about that.
And so just a real quick word, if you wouldn't mind picking up your trash, listen, Highlands Baptist has been so gracious to us using their facility. We just thank you to Matt and Steve for being able to serve us in that way. But they will be celebrating here tomorrow, and so they don't need all our trash, and someone doesn't need to be here all night picking up. So if you don't mind, if you have trash, or if you were next door and have trash, picking that up. And then secondly, we do need to get Jeff to the airport, so we're not trying to be rude if we're rushing him out. We want him to get on his flight. We want him to be able to serve his body tomorrow, so if he doesn't have time to talk to you, that's why, and I just wanted to say that. And last, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to ask Juan Pena, if you wouldn't mind just standing real quick and praying for Jeff, thanking the Lord for him spending time with us, but also just praying for the Spirit, that he gave his energy here this weekend, that the Spirit would continue to empower him as he serves at Doxa tomorrow.
Father, thank you so much for what you do to be with us and Jeff. All day long and last night, so Father, we feel energized and loved by you at the expense. So Father, we pray for school that you have moved on into the airport and security. We pray that we will be a refreshing flight back, that we will be able to see families tonight and be well rested.
live through this body as well, as he preaches the word in your spirit, empower him, your spirit convict, in your spirit encourage, knowing the church will always. Amen.
Thank you.